Hello, I'm Jane Dennis, Learning and Development Manager here at the British Red Cross, and I'm here with Reward and Recognition Manager Debbie Lucy to talk about the changes in the appraisal process for Level 1 and 2. So Debbie, there's been some changes to this process and form. Tell me about why that is.
Thanks, Jane. So we had feedback from various sources, from the Staff Association and from the People Survey, to say that the process wasn't running effectively for Levels 1 and 2 staff. It was complicated, time-consuming, not easy, and a bit of a chore to do. So we looked at best practice and we looked at what other organisations were doing, and we devised a new form. We then consulted and engaged with a number of different colleagues and line managers across the organisation, and we ensured that we covered all the services and areas that were mostly impacted by this change. So that means there's been several iterations of this form before we've put it live.
Okay, and what changes does that make for the staff themselves and the managers managing Level 1 and 2?
So the main change is, instead of being reviewed against individual objectives, there are 8 areas that all staff at Levels 1 and 2 are reviewed and assessed against. For each of those areas, there's a detailed explanation of what's needed to be reviewed, sort of behaviours we'd expect to see, and those sort of bits and pieces around each of the areas. As part of the discussion for each of those areas, they get rated in line with our appraisal ratings. So 1 would be exceed expectations, 2 meeting expectations, 3 good with scope for growth or development, and then 4 doesn't meet expectations. So the overall appraisal rating for the staff members calculated by adding up the ratings given for each of those 8 areas, and then the total and the distribution determines the overall appraisal rating.
Right. And are there any other changes that we need to consider?
For each of those areas, there's a space to write any comments that come out of the discussion at the appraisal meeting. This could be the rationale behind the rating, it could be positive comments, it could be any concerns raised, and any specific needs that you want to highlight and areas for development. Individual role objectives going forward are now optional for Levels 1 and 2 staff, but if there are specific targets and deliverables, there is still the space to be able to write objectives and set them.
Okay, and when does this all start?
So the new form should be used during this year's appraisal process. So it will be used for setting personal development plans for 2020, and as I say, if there are any specific objectives for members of staff, they can be set then.
Right, okay. And will this change the structure of the appraisal meeting?
No, so the appraisal meeting should still continue to be a balanced discussion between the line manager and the staff member, talking about the previous year's performance and what they want to do and go and achieve for the following year. The discussion should result in an agreed rating for each of the areas, and the line manager should be able to describe any improvements he would expect to see for a higher appraisal rating.
That's great. So this has been really informative, but is there somewhere else we can go to get more information?
Yes, there's our current Red Room page, so just search for appraisals. It's been updated with the new guidance form, new guidance pack and the new form. And of course it's got all the relevant information around the appraisal process anyway. And you can also go onto our digital e-learning platform. There's lots of short e-learning videos around appraisals, so search for appraisals or search for essential management and you'll find them.
Brilliant, thanks very much. That's great, and if you want any other management development information, please go on our digital platform and search for it there. Thanks. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.